Tonight on News 5 Live, unions cancel long weekend plans to review proposed salary cuts for public officers. And Belizeans hope for better business with Mexico and Guatemala. These stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
It's a fact that you can access unlimited services with Smart. Tired of being measured or cut off when you need to be connected? It's a fact that when you sign up for Smart's Plus plan, you get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data. And it's a fact that you can sign up with your group of up to 5 members for Smart's Share plans and up to 40 members for Smart's Enterprise plans for unlimited talk, text, and data. Smart has the true unlimited plans. That's a fact. Be smart and live smart.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety, and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
That's the sound of fuel efficiency. Every day, every time, I choose Una Fuels powered with Dynamax. Una, a brand committed with the future.
Each year at this time, the Belizean people are treated to a beautiful, uplifting, vibrant street parade by our youngest students, our beloved little ones. This year, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to go online with a virtual rally. I am honored to participate in this rally and to declare open Child Stimulation Month 2021. The absence of face-to-face instruction in the classroom has had a very serious impact on our entire education system, but particularly so on our early childhood educators and their students. These young students thrive on personal interaction with their teachers and classmates. They need to be comforted and appreciated. They need to be listened to. They need to be read to. They need to be loved, supported, and allowed to grow. The Ministry of Education is committed to universal pre-primary education free of cost over the next 5 years. This will include the establishment of a national Healthy Start feeding program. We must ensure that our rural communities have full and equal access to quality pre-primary education. The pre-primary education curriculum must be comprehensive and technologically friendly. It must include reading, visual arts, dancing, planting, music, civics, and an introduction to technology. I thank all our early childhood educators and our parents for the love and support you give each and every day to these our beautiful little children. To my little young friends, I say, we believe in you, we support you, we love you. Let's have a successful Child Stimulation Month 2021.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, March 5th. I am Sabrina Daly. The Briceño administration continues to consult with stakeholders, including the business community, ahead of presenting a budget for the upcoming fiscal year. While government receives input from various corners for what will be a lean financial plan for 2021, it is also looking to realize savings of up to $180 million over the next 3 years by docking salaries for public officers and teachers. The proposal to reduce the wage bill comes amid the devastating economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. On Thursday, a meeting was held with the Public Service Union, during which several matters were discussed. Today, Financial Secretary Joseph Waite outlined a 5-point proposal. Along with the suggested reduction of staff salaries is a continued freeze on increments and benefits over a 3-year period, with GOB saving $20 million per annum. That's a total of $240 million in public funds being saved between 2021 and 2024, should the joint unions agree to the proposal. It is by no means a done deal. News 5 spoke with First Vice President Dean Flowers of the Public Service Union.
The government, as they did in the first meeting, was clear on the current economic situation that the country is in, and they were able to share with us and explain to us more in depth their plans to bridge the deficit, and thereafter, and this is the budget deficit, and thereafter, of course, how best we could address the debt, the GDP, the 134% debt to GDP that the country is currently under now. So following that meeting, we requested of the government for them to provide to us, of course, in writing what exactly is it that they want, so that we can get down to the meat or to the essence of the discussion. We will convene a Council of Management meeting tomorrow. We will then coordinate membership meetings, and have heard back from membership, we will be able to provide the government with a detailed and comprehensive response, whether that be in the form of a counter proposal or an alternate proposal, or a complete rejection of what they're putting forward, or a complete agreement what they're putting forward. I don't know. That mandate will come from membership. Public Service Union or none of the joint unions have put forward any proposal that has to do with salary cuts. What we have put forward vehemently and very strongly is the need for us to address revenue enhancement and for us to put in place structures and monitoring mechanisms to ensure that the government performs more responsibly, and where compliance and the share of the tax burden is concerned. Those are the positions that we have put forward forcefully. We are only in receipt of this proposal by the government.
According to Flowers, who is also the PSU's public relations officer, another freeze in increments and benefits would be the fourth. While the union understands the difficult financial bind that government finds itself in, Flowers maintains that increased revenue collection should be a primary option to realizing the monies that government so desperately needs.
We're already engaged in an increment freeze, increment freeze, and so in essence, proposal number 2 would effectively be putting us in 4 increment freezes. That would yield $20 million. And also, I must make mention that the government's targeted number, where the deficit is concerned, where public officers or the wage bill is concerned, the targeted number is $80 million. And so from an increment standpoint, they're projecting a savings of around 20 million. So the proposal where salaries are concerned, of course, would tied to the remaining $60 million. But like I said, we have to carefully look at whether or not that $60 million can and should only come from wages, or if it can come from another source, whether it be some other cuts in other areas, or, as I have been saying repeatedly, perhaps an increase or identifying a possible increase in revenues where there is leakages, because at this point in time, of course, it would make absolutely no sense for us to have a discussion surrounding any new taxes as a result of the current pandemic that we're in.
The inaugural meeting of foreign ministers Eamon Courtney and Pedro Brolavilla took place on Thursday morning at the OAS office in the adjacency zone. For many years, Belize and Guatemala have had a strained relationship because of the enduring territorial dispute, which is presently before the World Court. With a change in government in both countries, efforts are being made to address mutual issues, including trade and immigration.
This is the first meeting between us as foreign ministers. We are relatively new governments, both of us, and we are trying to lay the foundation or continue building on what has happened in order to make Belize and Guatemala more friendly, more trade, more cultural, educational, immigration, defense issues. We've discussed a number of issues which are vitally important to both of us, and without talking out of turn, because the cabinet has to be brief, I can say that I believe that we have come to some understandings on important issues that are important for Belize and Guatemala. So we look forward to the work of the Commission. You haven't asked, but I will take the opportunity to say, we also agree that the Administrative Commission, which functions under the Partial Scope Agreement, will also be reinvigorated.
The Belize-Guatemala Joint Commission is also being reinvigorated, and through the existing Partial Scope Agreement, trade will be expanded to include other goods and services following a meeting with the business community.
That commission had held meetings and had set up different desks and tables for officials to deal with sanitary and phytosanitary, business facilitation, rules of origin, etc. And we have committed to having those entities start their work and working diligently, and most importantly, to facilitating a meeting with the private sector. We have put on the table an increase in the number of products that Belize wants to be covered by the Partial Scope Agreement, and Guatemala undertook to review them and to take them back to Capital for a review. And I look forward to our officials getting together to deal with those issues. We also propose to Guatemala the need to have some entity closer to Belize than Guatemala City to facilitate the issuance of permits and things like that. And the response from Minister Brola was very positive in that regard. And again, we're looking forward to implementation. The long and short of it is the claim by Guatemala to our territory, to our insular act, to our islands and sea, is before the ICJ by a decision of our people. The purpose of this meeting is not to discuss that, but to discuss the other areas for cooperation and other concerns between our two countries.
After the break, leader of the opposition criticizes the PUP on health and education. Details when we come back.
Hello friends, this is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "As for me, I will see your face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake in your likeness." The greatest thing about you is not what you have been, what you are, but what you're going to be. In Genesis 1:26, God said, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness." So God created man in his own image. God gave you a visible body that you could reveal the invisible God in all of his likeness. It is obvious to me that most people are not there yet, but the good news is that God has not given up on you. The Apostle Paul said, "He which hath begun a good work in you will perform it unto the day of Jesus Christ." The Apostle John makes it even more clear when he says, "Behold what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. It doth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself even as he is pure." Our children in the church say it best, "He's still working on me to make me what I need to be." It took him just a week to make the moon and the stars, the sun and the earth, and Jupiter and Mars. How loving and patient he must be, 'cause he's still working on me. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Did you know that the other guy's truly unlimited data offer is not 100% LTE speeds at all times?
Hey, I think you're breaking up.
What? You're breaking up with me?
Whereas, Digi customers enjoy 100% true LTE speeds in all Digi plans.
Nah, babe. I keep it Digi 100.
Started getting ready for Easter yet? If not, to get the cash you need to hit the road, take a sip, and kick your feet up for your Easter adventures? Apply online at quickstoponline.com or head on over to your nearest Quick Stop branch for the cash you need. As a first-time customer, enjoy your holidays with no payments until April. Offer ends March 31st. So let's get you Easter ready with a no-hassle loan from Quick Stop Personal Finance Center.
Do you know what is the COVID-19 vaccine? The COVID-19 vaccine provides support to help your body develop immunity to the virus that causes COVID-19 without us having to get the illness. It is safe and very effective. How does the COVID-19 vaccine work? Different types of vaccines work in different ways to offer protection. But with all types of vaccine, the body is left with a supply of memory that will remember how to fight the virus in the future. It typically takes a few weeks for the body to produce the antibodies after the vaccination. Types of vaccines. Currently, there are different types of vaccines. Each type of vaccine prompts our bodies to recognize and protect us from the virus that causes COVID-19. None of these vaccines can give you COVID-19. Some of the vaccines are Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna. Both are RNA types, part of the virus genetic code. They both need 2 doses. Sputnik V and AstraZeneca both are viral type, genetic modified virus. They both need 2 doses. Do I still need to practice safety measures after being vaccinated? Yes. You need to continue wearing your mask, washing hands, and practicing physical social distance. The vaccine reduces the severity of the COVID-19 infection. There is also evidence that the vaccine reduces transmission of the COVID-19 virus.
During the municipal elections, former Minister of Health Pablo Marin came out in support of Gilberto Campos, the UDP standard bearer for the Corzal Bay Division. Campos replaced him following his November 11th defeat in the general elections. News 5 caught up with Marin at polling area number 41, where he gave his review of the PUP's first 100 days in office as it relates to health.
The way this government is behaving, it is so sad to see that nothing has been done. Put it in health, what they have done to the DHS, they have used this as a vindictive manner, and I think that is wrong. There is regulations which we have abide by, and I can say it freely. When I came in, or when the UDP came into power, nobody was fired, and worse in health, because you have to see that the system do work, and you have to get the advice from all those technical people. So you have to wait and see if they will work with you or not work with you, but not cripple a system that is really needed in this country. And when you start to say that, you know what, you are bringing down cases, it's okay, we are happy if that is happening, but are you doing the right thing? Is your rapid test 100% proven? And then when you notice when we in November, our numbers were lower of death than when they came in, and then you are telling me that it was better? It's better in your way?
Marin is also watching as the situation with Dr. Marvin Manzanero is playing out, as he believes it is political victimization. He says his wife, Danine Contreras Marin, also employed with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, has been targeted by the new minister. He believes Minister Michelle Shabat is sidelining talented people rather than creating an effective team.
When the minister is talking about names, he has Dr. Manza, the DHS, out of his office. He has Russell Manzanero. That is 2 names. So that means you're using names to target people, right? Then my wife, which is Marin, you're targeting her also. So instead of you trying to fix the system, you're creating a problem. And if you go into their office, the office that was at DHS is now like a conference room for him, where the secretaries were, it's a waiting area. So you have like move away everybody because you believe you are the Bruce Almighty. And that cannot be. You have to use the entire team for you to be able to manage this.
Opposition leader Patrick Faber also commented on the Dr. Marvin Manzanero situation. While it is not clear what is going to happen next, it is certain that he is not going to remain in the capacity as the Director of Health Services with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. As you know, Dr. Manzanero is under investigation for alleged misconduct. Faber says that it is disrespectful.
It is typical PUP. It is the kind of disrespect that we have come to know from them. But in particular, the new Minister of Health, Mr. Shabat, apparently seems to be his way of operating. And that kind of disrespect for one public servant, I think, will spill over so that the wider public service, in fact, you've already seen where that is the case, are saying to them, listen, be careful of how you move. We're watching you. You came in on a different platform, and now your slip is showing. We are really seeing your true colors. And for us in the UDP, we stand for what is right, and so we don't condone that kind of practice, and we call on the government again to do the right thing and to reinstate Dr. Marvin Manzanero.
Leader of the opposition and former Minister of Education, Patrick Faber, during an interview with News 5 on Election Day, spoke of what he claims is reckless behavior on behalf of the Briceño administration. Faber says that scholarship awards were not being honored and that the PUP is not making good on its promises.
People who we have awarded, they have award letters. I'm told those monies aren't being paid, and so the schools are actually clamoring for these payments, and where the government doesn't make the payment, then of course the schools are asking the students and their parents to pay. And that, in our view, is not fair, because people already planned on receiving those payments. But in general, the practices of the government have not been, the UDP government have not been supported, paying for the CXCs, paying those payments for students across the country, giving those tertiary level students their monies. We're told that the subvention at the University of Belize will be cut. So these are very damning things. And when I say that, I don't mean to rain on a situation that is already bad. We know that COVID-19 has a crunch on the economy of Belize, but the People's United Party, knowing fully well that that would be the situation, in fact, they proclaimed to the whole nation that they knew that the UDP had destroyed the finances. Why then would you be so reckless to go and promise things like free education and free laptop computers and all of these things that they promised?
There's much more news after the break, so stay tuned.
We begin our month-long celebration of women at a time when so much is at stake. Already, too many of our grandmothers and mothers have died because of the COVID-19 virus. Too many of our sisters who want to work can't find a job because presently more than 30% of our people are unemployed and even more are underemployed. Indeed, it may seem hopeless, but it is not. This is the month when the vaccines should roll out across our nation, so that even during these long, dark nights, we know the dawn will soon break and women and men alike can begin to dream again and to prosper again. So we begin Women's Month in Belize with optimism. believing that soon we will get back to where we once were, engaged in the work of enabling and increasing the transformative power of our women. Throughout our history, women have been instrumental in advancing our national development. We have been at the forefront of efforts to steer our country on a path to a more equal, fair, and inclusive society, and we have contributed in innumerable ways to our national character, culture, and our Belizean values. This was formed over the decades by eminent women like Madame Liz, Miss Jane, Sister Mercy Cervantes, Cleopatra White, our Black Cross nurses, and that great generation of formidable Belizean women upon whose shoulders and powerful examples we stand upon today. They make up but a few of the generations of women, young and old alike, who have sacrificed and continue to sacrifice even to this day. And while most of their efforts will not make it to our history books, they will impact the future. So yes, Women's Month should always be a time for celebration, but it must too be a time for reflection, because in spite of the many strides we have made in achieving gender parity, today there are still many Belizean women being excluded from full participation in our society, our development, and our democracy. Even now, the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the unequal burden many women face in their homes and in their communities. This has amplified the disparities that so many Belizean women experience. Let's face it, our systems and structures, if not blatantly, is overtly slow to respond, reluctant to embrace the assets, contributions, and capacities of women, if not forced to do so through artificial quotas and target mechanisms. Research conducted by the United Nations and other international organizations show that the inclusion of women enhances national development. Numerous studies show that greater gender equality is linked to a higher GDP per capita, proof positive that women's participation in the workforce and in income generation boosts economic growth and lifts a society as a whole. As well, equal access for women to the land and other agricultural inputs increases agricultural productivity by 20% or 30% and reduces the number of people suffering from hunger. And companies with 3 or more women among their directors or top managers have 53% more output than companies with no women. Yet, despite all of this, women in Belize still lag behind, too far behind. We experience barriers such as unequal access to opportunities, to credit, and to higher paying jobs. Lack of adequate help from communities and government to enter the workforce, to participate fairly in the economy, and access to the legal system along with its resources hinder many Belizean women from achieving their full potential. Even as women make up half of the workforce and more than half of the educated adult population, women earn less and participate less in decision making. While there are no magic formulas or overnight success programs, Belize, like the rest of the world, must now seize the moment and change. If we are to adapt to this so-called new normal, then women must be equal partners in development and in progress. This is the time for meaningful change. This is a good place to start again. But in doing so, we must ensure that national efforts and actions reflect the perspectives, contributions, unique vulnerabilities, and diverse strengths of our Belizean women at all levels. So yes, we must celebrate Women's Month, and we must also make meaningful our commitment to renewal and revival towards real development. That is the spirit of this year's theme, which calls on all of us to hashtag choose to challenge achieving gender equality in a COVID-19 world. Let March 2021 be the month and the year we give rise to concrete measures, innovative actions, and responsive policies that will be bold enough to ensure a real partnership and real inclusion by Belizean women. Working together, we can fulfill those noble, sustainable development goals so that we can all truly appreciate that progress for Belizean women is progress for all Belizeans. Happy Women's Month to all Belizeans.
I ask, if the world is in so much suffering, why don't we do our part to help control this pandemic by doing the following? Wear masks, wash hands, avoid crowds. My name is Kayleen Lewis. I am from Caledonia Village. I am 10 years old and I am from Standard 4. And I hope this topic sends a message to people on how to control this pandemic.
She has been an excellent student, okay, very hardworking in the class, and always committed. Usually in the afternoon I would see her. Instead of running about, she would have a book with her.
I got in this competition because the prizes attracted me, and the topic is easy to write since we're living in this pandemic.
Kaylin deserves very well this prize, and I know that she will make good use of this prize that BEL is awarding to her.
I would like to tell to BEL a big thank you for having this competition.
On behalf of the parents, teachers, and students of Caledonia School, we extend our sincere gratitude to BEL.
Start your year with a win with Belikin and its new promotion, Papa Stopper. Yes, sir. Every time you pop one stopper off our Belikin, make sure you check under the crown. If you see one bottle shape, you win one free Belikin. If you see one ball, you win $20. If you see one star, you win $100. And once you see one diamond, you win $1,000. Sure, Belikin again, you know. Papa Stopper. When you pop a stopper off a Belikin, check to see if you're a winner. You can collect your free beer or $20 cash prize at the store nearest to you. If you win $100 or $1,000, redeem your prize at the nearest B&B sales center.
Promotion is valid until Saturday, March 27th or while supplies last.
Papa Stopper!
Belikin, the beer of Belize.
Congratulations to our Belikin Papa Stopper winners to date. Continue popping those stoppers off of Belikin for a chance to win free beer, $20, $100, or $1,000.
Papa Stopper!
Belikin, the beer of Belize.
Es un hecho que puedes obtener servicios ilimitados con Smart. ¿Cansado de que se corte la línea cuando más necesitas estar conectado? Es un hecho que cuando te suscribes al plan de Smart Plus, obtienes llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Y también es un hecho que te puedes suscribir con un grupo de 5 miembros al plan Smart Share y hasta 40 miembros al plan Smart Enterprise para llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Smart tiene los verdaderos planes ilimitados. Es un hecho. Sé Smart y vive de forma Smart.
The People's United Party served the United Democratic Party a major defeat in the 2021 municipal elections. The PUP went from controlling 3 full councils to majority control of all 9. The UDP was left with only 2 seats in the West, where the PUP, after many years, was able to make dent in the red hills of the towns by securing 5 councillor seats. As our wrap-up of the municipal elections, we take a cursory look at the results from the elections. Here's a story.
The People's United Party won in a landslide over the United Democratic Party at the municipal polls on Wednesday. The PUP has majority control of all 9 municipalities, with 65 of their candidates winning their seats and only 2 UDP candidates left standing. Mayor Earl Trapp and Councillor Bernadette Fernandez won their seats in San Ignacio and Santa Elena. Although Trapp is mayor on a majority blue council, he made it clear that he is still the man in charge of the twin towns.
A good leader dictates from time to time, so no one will tell me what to do, buddy. If I have to dictate, I will dictate to get the work done in this community.
And while it's left to be seen how that balance of power will work out for Mayor Trapp in San Ignacio and Santa Elena, the UDP candidates are still licking their wounds in Punta Gorda. Not only were they bested by the PUP, but also by the Belize Progressive Party, putting the UDP mayor and some of his councillor candidates in third place in the number of votes they received. In the north, the PUP decimated the UDP candidates, with PUP's Ladrick Shepherd winning the mayoral seat with more than 3,500 votes in Orange Walk, beating out UDP's Orlando Castillo. Castillo, a son of Orange Walk but an unknown in the political scene, felt that the defeat was a message to his party, and despite the massive loss, he wants to run again.
It's very bad here in Orange Walk for the United Democratic Party. It reflects very poorly on what the party represents at the moment, and the people are showing they are still not contented with the UDP party. When you get into this young, you cannot get discouraged. When you suffer a loss, you need to regroup, discuss, and move forward with a proper plan to see how you can gain back that trust of the people.
And in San Pedro, after 18 years, the voters put their trust in the PUP. There, PUP's Wally Nunez won the mayoral race with 3,462 votes, soundly defeating the UDP's Ruben Gonzalez, who received 1,701 votes.
I want to give thanks to San Pedro for coming out and giving us that vote of confidence. We will work for San Pedro. We're here for you.
In Belize City, the PUP team received twice as many votes as their UDP challengers. Mayor Bernard Wagner received 10,067 votes, while UDP's Urson Picard received 5,849 votes. Two of Wagner's councillors, returning Alan Pollard and newcomer Kaya Katus, topped the polls with 10,886 and 10,816 votes respectively in Belize City. In Belmopan, after a long PUP drought, 15 years to be exact, the blue team was able to win the elections. The capital city now has its first female mayor, Sharon Palacio. Palacio beat out longtime city councillor and mayoral hopeful Jacqueline Burns of the UDP, with Palacio getting 3,016 votes to Burns' 1,291. In Benque Viejo, where the UDP has dominated for years, that came to a crashing end in a close race with the PUP slate, led by Jorge Rosales, edging out the UDP's Miguel Guerra by a mere 39 votes. In Tangriga, the PUP team also unseated the UDP, with Robert Mariano defeating Francis Humphreys. Mariano got 1,332 votes, while Humphreys received 918 votes. In Carzal, incumbent PUP Mayor Rigo Veos retained his mayoral seat with 2,885 votes, beating out newcomer Roger Arana of the UDP, who received 2,035 votes. And when the polls closed on Wednesday, the PUP leader said they had no doubts that they would prevail at the polls. They expected a win, but a 65-2 win, an almost clean sweep, that wasn't predicted. Any predictions?
We are going to have the majority of them. I believe that we're going to do very well, and that we're going to win the majority. As to if we're going to win all, well, that will be very, very difficult, as you know.
How are the teams feeling, the PUP teams feeling across the rest of the country?
The reports I'm getting is that everybody is optimistic. Everybody believes that they managed to take out their voters. Despite the fact that there was a low voter turnout, that they believe that they took out the majority of our voters, of our supporters, and that is what counts for your side. I mean, what the other side does, that's your problem. And so I think we're going to do very well across the country.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
The Mexico-Belize virtual roundtable was held today. The online meeting was between public and private sector businesses from both countries and was done through collaboration between the Embassy of Mexico to Belize, the Ministry of Economic Development of Quintana Roo, and Coparmex Quintana Roo, as well as the Bell Trade. Among the sectors included were software development, transportation and tourism services, logistics and customs services, supply solutions, education, business consultancy, construction, and renewable energy. They focused on the bilateral trade and investment relationship between both countries, Belize and Mexico, in an effort to boost commercial ties between the neighboring state of Quintana Roo and Belize, supporting post-pandemic recovery efforts. Justice Herbert Lord today ruled a mistrial in the case of Patrick Harris. When the case began last week Tuesday, Justice Lord decided to enter into a voir dire during the trial to determine whether a group identification that the police conducted in 2017 was lawful. The judge ruled it was not and proceeded with the trial. But on Thursday morning, the Crown's main witness attempted to do a doc identification of the accused. The defense attorney again raised arguments over features that he felt ought to have occurred to allow for this. The case was adjourned for lunch, but not before the judge told the witness to not speak to anyone during the break regarding the matter. That was when Salgado said he saw the same witness speaking to a police officer, who then escorted him to the DPP's office. Salgado submitted that while it was possible that the witness and the prosecutor did not speak about the matter that had just come up in the trial, it certainly drew a negative inference that he could have been coached. Justice Lord ruled the defense's submissions were proper and declared a mistrial. Justice Lord also decided to offer Harris bail of $40,000 until a new trial can be heard by another judge. Patrick Harris is accused of the 2016 New Year's Eve murder of Dylan Greenidge in Sandhill Village, Belize District. Justice Westman James will make a ruling on a date to be set in May in a civil suit for negligence against the Belize Police Department and the government. This is for the death of Stella Maris school teacher Ruth Ferguson back in 2018. On Thursday, the claimants and the respondents in the case made their submissions to the judge. The family, through their attorney, Anthony Sylvester, is seeking damages for wrongful death at the hands of a police. Ruth Ferguson was at school in November 2018 when two officers attempted to take her to court on a committal warrant for failing to pay an outstanding balance on a loan. The warrant meant that she would be automatically transported to the Belize Central Prison if she could not make a payment. Ferguson began to have breathing complications, but it is alleged the officers ignored her plea for medical assistance. She was finally rushed to the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital, but had made a massive heart attack and died about an hour later. The mother of one was 35 years old at the time, had at least 20 more employable years ahead of her, using the pensionable age of 55. The family is seeking damages of loss of income for those years. Coming up, children flip the script on Open Your Eyes and contribute to news gathering at News 5.
Comenzamos nuestro mes de celebración de la mujer en un momento en que hay mucho en juego. Ya han muerto demasiadas de nuestras abuelas y madres a causa del virus del COVID-19. Demasiadas hermanas que quieren trabajar no pueden encontrar un empleo porque actualmente más del 30% de nuestra gente está desempleada y aún más está subempleada. Ciertamente puede parecer desesperante, no lo es. Este es el mes en que las vacunas se empezarán a distribuir a lo largo de nuestra nación para que, incluso durante estas largas noches de angustia, sepamos que pronto llegará el momento en que tanto hombres como mujeres empezarán a soñar y prosperar. Así que comenzamos el mes de la mujer en Belice con optimismo, creyendo que pronto volveremos a estar donde una vez estuvimos, comprometidos con la labor de permitir y aumentar el poder transformador de nuestras mujeres. A lo largo de nuestra historia, las mujeres han sido fundamentales para el avance de nuestro desarrollo nacional. Hemos estado a la vanguardia de los esfuerzos para conducir a nuestro país por el camino de una sociedad más igualitaria, justa e inclusiva. Y hemos contribuido de innumerables maneras a nuestro carácter nacional, a nuestra cultura y a nuestros valores beliceños. Esto se formó a lo largo de las décadas gracias a mujeres eminentes como Madame Liz, Miss Jean, la hermana Mercy Cervantes, Cleopatra White, nuestras enfermeras de la Cruz Negra y esa gran generación de formidables mujeres beliceñas sobre cuyos hombros y poderosos ejemplos nos apoyamos hoy. Son solo algunas de las generaciones de mujeres, tanto jóvenes como mayores, que se han sacrificado y siguen sacrificando hasta el día de hoy. Y aunque la mayoría de sus esfuerzos no llegarán a nuestros libros de historia, nos impactarán en el futuro. El mes de la mujer debe ser siempre un momento de celebración, pero también debe ser un momento de reflexión, porque a pesar de los muchos avances que hemos hecho para lograr la igualdad de género, hoy en día todavía hay demasiadas mujeres beliceñas que están excluidas de participar en nuestra sociedad, nuestro desarrollo y nuestra democracia. Incluso ahora, la pandemia del COVID-19 ha puesto de manifiesto la carga desigual a la que se enfrentan muchas mujeres beliceñas en sus hogares y en sus comunidades. Esto ha amplificado la desigualdad que sufren tantas mujeres beliceñas. Admitámoslo, nuestros sistemas y estructuras son abiertamente lentos en responder, renuentes a aceptar los activos, las contribuciones y las capacidades de la mujer, si no les obliga a hacerlos mediante cuotas artificiales y mecanismos de objetivos. Las investigaciones realizadas por las Naciones Unidas y otras organizaciones internacionales demuestran que la inclusión de las mujeres mejora el desarrollo nacional. Numerosos estudios demuestran que una mayor igualdad de género está relacionada con un mayor Producto Interno Bruto per cápita, lo que demuestra que la participación de la mujer en la fuerza de trabajo y la generación de ingresos impulsa el crecimiento económico y eleva a la sociedad en su conjunto. Además, la igualdad de acceso de las mujeres a la tierra y a otros insumos agrícolas aumenta la productividad agrícola en un 20% a 30% y reduce el número de personas que padecen hambre. Asimismo, las empresas con 3 o más mujeres entre sus directores o altos cargos tienen un 53% más de productividad que las empresas sin mujeres. Sin embargo, a pesar de todo esto, las mujeres beliceñas siguen estando rezagadas, demasiado rezagadas. Experimentamos barreras como el acceso desigual a las oportunidades, al crédito y a trabajos mejor pagados. La falta de ayuda adecuada por parte de las comunidades y el gobierno para entrar en la fuerza de trabajo, para participar de manera justa en la economía y el acceso al sistema legal junto con sus recursos, impiden a la mujer beliceña alcanzar su pleno potencial. A pesar de que las mujeres constituyen la mitad de la población activa y más de la mitad de la población adulta con estudios, ellas ganan y participan menos en la toma de decisiones. Aunque no hay fórmulas mágicas ni programas de éxito de la noche a la mañana, Belice, como el resto del mundo, debe dejar de lado el momento y cambiar. Si queremos adaptarnos a esta nueva normalidad, las mujeres deben ser iguales en el desarrollo y en el progreso. Este es el momento de un cambio significativo. Hoy es un buen punto de partida, pero al hacerlo debemos asegurarnos que los esfuerzos y las acciones nacionales reflejen las perspectivas, las contribuciones, las vulnerabilidades únicas y las distintas fortalezas de nuestras mujeres beliceñas en todos los niveles. Así es como debemos celebrar el mes de la mujer, pero también debemos dar sentido a nuestro compromiso de renovación y resurgimiento hacia el desarrollo real. Ese es el espíritu de tema de este año, que nos llama a todos a #elegir el desafío, lograr la igualdad de género en un mundo con COVID-19. Dejemos que marzo de 2021 sea el mes y el año en que demos lugar a medidas concretas, acciones innovadoras y políticas receptivas que sean lo suficientemente audaces como para garantizar una verdadera asociación e inclusión de la mujer beliceña. Trabajando juntos, podemos cumplir esos nobles objetivos de desarrollo sostenible para que todos podamos apreciar realmente que el progreso de la mujer beliceña es el progreso de todos los beliceños. Feliz mes de la mujer a todos los beliceños.
Caused intense flooding overnight in the western and southern parts of the country.
Yeah?
Do we need to renew the insurance policy?
The insurance policy? Oh, let me check.
Renew your policies, file a claim, and even send us a message using RFNG online.
No, we're good. It says we're covered.
Okay, great.
It pays to get it right with RFNG Insurance, a road group company.
Mahogany Heights. My name is Raquel Vega. I am the community health worker for Mahogany Heights.
Located just off the Western Highway between Belize City and Belmopan is a small village known as Mahogany Heights. As the community health worker in Mahogany Heights, Raquel Vega cares for approximately 1,063 persons. She has lived in Mahogany Heights for 18 years and has been serving as the community health worker for 11 years.
My role basically is to educate our people first of all. And for us is to just offer basic first aid service to our community.
As the country is learning to cope with COVID-19, community-based delivery of essential health services becomes a viable solution to the disruption of health services created by an upsurge in cases and lockdowns and to the shifting of the health workforce.
Whenever they come at us, have to make sure they sanitize, we do social distance and try, to keep it safe.
Through the European Union-funded Health Sector Support Program Belize project, funds were reoriented for improving integrated healthcare at the community level during COVID-19. 230 health workers, including Raquel Vega, received work kits containing non-contact thermometers, stethoscopes, glucometers with strips and lancets, and first aid kits.
As a community health worker, I am now equipped to go out into my community and serve better in my community.
Thank you. Gracias. Sereme. Thank you.
Are you traveling? Effective January 26, all passengers traveling internationally will need to get tested no more than 3 days before you travel to the United States and show your negative result to the airline before you board your flight. Here at Caring Hands Clinic in San Pedro, we administer the antigen test, frequently referred to as a rapid test. Our products are CDC compliant and FDA approved. Testing has never been this easy. With our highly certified and licensed medical staff, we provide you with an accurate test result in minutes, making your experience fast, safe, and easy. To book your appointments today, contact us on any of our hotlines at 671-TEST or 672-TEST, 226-FAST, or our Vonage line at 305-420-6203. Book your appointments online at www.belizecovidtest.com. Caring Hands Clinic Antigen Test Center. We're pleased to serve you.
Abigail.
Yes, Gran?
Abigail, I can't breathe well.
Granny, we need to go to the hospital to get you checked out.
No! I'm fine.
Yes, Gran, we need to go now to get you treated. Now, before it's too late.
No, 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 no.
Grandma, we need to go for all of us.
No, no, no.
Stop. If you are having flu-like symptoms, please call us immediately for medical guidance. If you have chronic conditions such as diabetes, and you're experiencing symptoms such as shortness of breath or chest pain, please also seek medical attention immediately. We've lost a lot of people this year. We don't want to lose you too. Please seek help if necessary. Call us at 0800-664-2273. Continue to wear your mask at all times. Keep physical distance when in public and stay at home unless absolutely necessary. This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Hello? Okay, sure, I'll be there.
Hi, Mommy. When are you coming home? I really miss you.
Hearing the voice of our loved ones can always lift our spirits and make us feel whole again. With Smart's twice as nice promotion, prepaid customers who make 5 minutes worth of national calls on Sundays can enjoy 50% off. Top double on all national calls for the rest of the day. Call your loved ones and enjoy half off all day long. Smart, bringing people together.
Sunday is International Children's Broadcasting Day. The event was started by the UNICEF in 1991 to raise awareness of children's issues and to encourage media houses to pay more attention to children's programming. This morning on Channel 5's Open Your Eyes, our hosts change places with two children, Noelle Sabito and AJ Crawford, who got their chance to ask the questions.
Did you always want to be in the media, or did you have like another dream career when you were a kid?
Great question again. Great question again. No, I wasn't thinking about being in the media. I actually wanted to be an airplane pilot.
Wow.
That was actually what I wanted to do. And I tried once. I got behind the wheels of an airplane and I did what I had to do. And it was scary, but it felt so good because that's what I wanted to do. And then I landed right here in the media. And it's nice. It's basically who I am.
When did you know you wanted to be in the news media business?
After I started. I never planned to be in the media. I love communications. I love talking and messaging and these things. Loved it. Always loved it. That's what I wanted to do when I became an adult.
While the young hosts on Open Your Eyes enjoyed getting their questions answered on live TV, News 5 also had a young journalist embedded in our newsroom today. Nairi Kisling, a student at Wesley College in real life, hit the ground running by planning, interviewing, writing, and recording a full-length report for us. Her topic, the challenges facing Belizean students who have now been engaged in remote learning for just about a year now due to COVID-19, and one haven of support in Belize City.
Online schooling has taken a toll on everyone, from little infants to primary schoolers to high schoolers and even parents. One of the main reasons why children are falling behind is because of the new online classes. What are some challenges you face at home or at the Y that at school you wouldn't really have to worry about?
When you submit at the Y and at home when you submit your work, sometimes it doesn't give you full grade. Like when you get it incorrect, you sometimes wrong it.
There are many things you have to go through on a daily basis while trying to upload your work, like your work can get lost in your computer or device. You might have to start all over again. Or you actually did the work and handed it in, but the teacher still cannot access your work. If you were to go back to school and you could tell the teachers one thing that you didn't like about what they did over the COVID break, what would it be?
Some teachers they just put the video in, they don't explain the video, they don't give examples. They will just give the video without explaining it or giving any examples.
Like what mostly do you miss about school?
My teachers and my friends.
But the YMCA has made an easier way for these students who are struggling with both their work and miss seeing other children. They offer access to computers and adults willing to explain the assignments. This has been a big boost for students like Cariel Jones.
It improved my grades. I never been a top A student, but now much better.
I asked Dr. Cuellar about the adjustments the YMCA had to make to accommodate this mode of learning.
I think that the young people, you're right, led us in this direction of change because they wanted to still come. We know they needed the help. And we had enough senior youths, which would be junior college and those who just graduated, who say, okay, let's put our heads together and help. So the biggest adjustment was what platform, what software would we use to help that will make sure our primary schoolers stay safe, that would make it easy for the retired teachers to use because they didn't use computers when they were teaching.
I think the reopening of schools for in-person learning is needed because so many children are struggling. For example, at my school, which is Wesley College, only half of the students get to work fully online. Many have to pick up their packages with the work. So I think school needs to open up again because everyone deserves to be back in the classroom and everyone deserves the same amount of learning as the others. Even if there is COVID, we can wear a shield and mask and learn how to adjust to the new rules. Nairi Kisling reporting for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5police.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.